Hey everyone, Tom the Dilettante here. Hope everyone's doing well. For the longest time, I've wanted one of these Prinsu racks, and recently Prinsu was kind enough to sponsor me and send me one of these to try out. Today I'm going to walk you through how to install a Prinsu Design Studios roof rack on a second-gen Crosstrek. Most of the work in installing this thing is actually in the interior, disassembling a lot of things in order to drop the headliner so you can access the nuts that hold the factory rails onto the car. The rack itself is pretty straightforward to install, and the instructions that come with it are pretty good. I look forward to having a lot of great adventures with this thing, but first let's get it installed and let me show you how. Prinsu recommends disconnecting your battery before you start the project because you will be disconnecting some electrical connectors inside the car. Moving to the inside of the car, first we're going to remove the sun visors and the front seat handles. Go ahead and drop your sun visor so you have access to the catch here first. This part can be a little tricky. The plastic clips inside here go up and outward, and so they break very easy. I suggest lightly depressing a clip from each side and then pulling out. For the other half of the sun visor, go ahead and pry up from the back here and pop out. This will come off and you'll have access to two screws. Go ahead and remove the screws. From there, go ahead and just pull this thing out. You'll see one electrical connector. Go ahead and depress the catch and release. Set this aside. Next is the side handle. These are held in place by these push pins. Getting them out is a little tricky. For each side, basically just go ahead and reach in the side slot here and pry it out. With the pins popped out, go ahead and remove the handle. Next, we're going to remove the dome light assembly. Go ahead and pop these off from the sides and peel it this way. You'll have two screws. You'll pull those. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and grab the front first. Pry it down, pull back. From here, just disconnect your electrical connectors. And you'll have the dome assembly removed. Moving to the back seat now, we're going to go ahead and remove the center dome light. Pry it from the back first, and you'll see two Phillips screws. Pull it down and disconnect the wiring. All right, next we need to remove the upper and lower B-pillar panels. And in order to make that a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is remove the lower trim from the front and rear door sills, as well as pull down the weather stripping in each door. Next, we want to remove the plastic cover over the seatbelt adjustment mechanism. Go ahead and pull your lower B-pillar. There'll be two bolts for your upper B-pillar, one underneath the seatbelt and one holding the seatbelt in place itself. With those out, go ahead and pull out the upper B-pillar. Last thing in the front is the A-pillar removal, and this is pretty straightforward. Basically just go ahead and grab a handful at the top and pull it down, pull it up, and there'll be a little clip inside to rotate and pull it off. In the back, the last thing we have to get out of the way is this panel right here. To get it out of the way, I recommend going ahead and popping off these two screws, which will make it easier to go ahead and start popping this whole thing out. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave that set aside for now. Lastly, you've got these 3 pins to go ahead and pull out. They're 2-piece pins, so go ahead and be careful when you're pulling them out. You want to slide it just under the lip, pop it out, and then from there, pop out the whole thing. Once all that is out, you should be able to start dropping the headliner. With the headliner dropped down, you now have access to the nuts that hold the factory rails in place. Once you've got the 6 nuts removed from each rail, go ahead and knock it loose, and the whole thing will pop right out. The rack will be held in place by plus nuts included with the kit. For them to fit, we'll need to drill out the existing holes to 3/8 inch. Check for fit, and then apply ample silicone to the plus nut before reinserting and tightening down in order to ensure a watertight seal. Repeat this for all the holes, 6 on each side, and your end product should look something like this, with fully expanded and well-engaged plus nuts on the underside and a well-sealed fastener on the top side. Alright, once you've got the rib nuts in place, go ahead and set the spacers on the side rails. Tighten them loosely so you can still move them around a little bit. And then what we've done is we've gone ahead and placed over the cross rails. We're going to tighten them down one by one each and go along the way, and then finally finish this off by tightening the rails to the car. Alright, that's it. Once you've got the crossbars all tightened up, check the whole thing for square, secure it down to the vehicle, and you're all done. Well, except for putting the vehicle's interior back together, that is. So there you have it. That's how you install a Prinsu roof rack on a 2nd gen Crosstrek. I've already taken mine out on a couple adventures, most recently the Utah desert, but we'll save that for another video. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing. Have a good one.